Hey guys, we're here with American Bait Works Live. I'm here in Goshen, Mississippi, on the banks of the beautiful Pascagoula River. But you know enough about me. I have a star on the show with me tonight, and this is we have Scott Canterbury, who is 2020, I guess, do they call it 21 Bassmaster Classic qualifier, and
It
he's
is.
yeah, and he's getting ready to head to Texas and uh, get the show started on Lake Ray Roberts, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know a whole lot about that lake, but I've done a little research. It looks like it's a pretty versatile lake. It has largemouth, spots, and smallmouth, from what I understand.
You
Um,
know,
I don't know
I
what
don't
all
believe
you
it
can
has
play, but
smallmouth. It is.
according
It
to
has a diversity, and I mean, it's not a huge lake. I went out there just one day and idled for like 10 hours. It's full of standing timber. Uh, I'm sure a lot of people are going to tear a lot of stuff up that week, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. The lake has there's not a whole lot of research you can do on Ray Roberts. I've watched it, Texas team trail tournaments there. They're usually there in February, March, in the spring. And I think if we would have got to fish it in April, you would have seen some of the biggest bags in Bassmaster history. I mean, it's got giants in it, and there'll be some big ones caught, but we're just going at a little tougher time of the year.
Yeah, I think it's you saw it at Gunnersville. Everybody, I'm sure, watched all of that, and it was a little weird. It seemed like there, I got a little experience there, and it seemed like it should have been a little better this time of year. Things are a little behind schedule, I think, with all the rain and the weather that we've had. But I'm sure it carries over there. I mean, Texas has been hammered with some weather this year. Do you think that'll affect it in any way?
Yeah, it definitely will. Like you were talking about Gunnersville, I mean, we can talk about that a little bit. I finished like 30th there, but I just kept expecting them to show up any day. I was fishing out mainly and, catching fish, but like I never caught a 4 pounder the whole tournament and still finished 30th. But even day three, I just expected them to be there. The weather finally turned. It finally got hot. It was calm. We had 20-mile-an-hour winds 4 days in a row, and I knew that was keeping a lot of fish shallow because I mean it was just we had no humidity and it wasn't hot. And then it finally got hot and calm, and I was expecting them to show up. I caught a few day two out on places that there was no fish during practice. So, I mean, just spent a lot of time idling around with your electronics. I was using Lowrance, and you'd pick a few off on some places that were just showing up, but the magic school never appeared for me. And I'm expecting, you know, I've been keeping up with the weather. It's actually a little cooler in Fort Worth, Texas than it is in Alabama for the next week and a half. So, you never know. I mean, it could definitely be a shallow deal. The lake had been low all spring, and I was expecting it to be an out deal. Well, they got flooded last week, and now it's full pool. So I mean, you never know. I mean, fish could be any shallow, or you could find a school out deep. I mean, it's going to be interesting to try to put the pieces of that puzzle together. We got 3 days, which are a week before the tournament. That's the thing. A weird thing about the Classic is we'll practice. We'll practice Friday, Saturday, and Sunday the week before the tournament. And then we got a few days out for media exposure, media appearances. And then we get one more practice day right before the tournament. So, got a lot of time to put the pieces of that puzzle together, but I'm going to be looking forward to it and going to definitely be looking hard those few days that we get. I'm going to spend as much time as I can trying to figure out how to get big bites because it's got giants. And like I said, I mean, I've watched Texas team trail tournaments in the spring where a guy catches 4 fish for 32 pounds and wins the tournament, doesn't even catch a limit. It's got giants in it. I mean, you can't express it enough. Each one of those tournaments I watched took it 10.5 or 11.25 to win big fish in one day tournament. So, I mean, the opportunity to catch the fish of a lifetime is definitely there. I mean, I don't know. It seems to me like you just don't get a whole lot of bites, but it's definitely got the right quality in it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen it, and I'm like any other fisherman, I guess. I've watched a lot of that Texas team trail, and I've seen some of those there, and that's really all I know about the lake. But you get some of the best fishermen in the world, which are in the in the Bassmasters, which I feel like are some of the best in the world. Somebody will put that puzzle together, and I just hope it's going to be you, and I'm sure you more than me, but
I definitely
but yeah, I mean it's going to be cool. It'll be good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Like
yeah,
I said, I mean, you're going to have to look. I mean, I'll end up looking shallow. I mean, it could be a brim bed deal, sort of like Gunnersville was going on with a bunch of brim bed fish. It could be, there is milfoil on the lake in places. That could be a big player, I was thinking. And then, you know, obviously it is full of house foundations, pond dams, road beds going everywhere. So, I mean, it's got plenty of offshore structure to hold, you know, giant schools of fish. It's just a matter of luck, you know, finding one or two places where you can get some bites and get quality. I mean, you're not just going to it's not going to be about just going out and catching some numbers. You're going to have to catch big ones because, I mean, it definitely has them.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, anytime you go to Texas, you know, they say everything's bigger in Texas. And the times that I've been to Texas, I've had some good weeks in Texas myself. And I know they live there for sure. So it'll be interesting to see. I got a few comments on here, and it's really odd. I was just looking at them, and we're having a few comments about the beard. And I had one from Frankie Key that said, "Fear the beards." I guess that our beards are standing out in Facebook Live. So
I'm bringing it back.
I hear you. And I had Joe Gross. It's a good plug for you, since you were an integral part of designing these rods for us. He said he just received his 610 and 7.3 medium heavy Canterburys, and he says, and the word amazing comes straight to my mind. He's
awesome.
Now ordering a 7.5 heavy and a 7-foot medium cranking, and he wishes you the best of luck. But yeah, that's awesome. And you know, we're not on here, you know, promoting the product. We're talking about the Classic, but you know, your rods are really starting to take off. People are realizing what they really are, and you know, it's really cool. And I want to see them go to work at Ray Roberts this week.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. You know, it's been good catching fish. I mean, you know, for the past couple of years, it's what I've been using, and all of Marshall's and everybody really talks about them. But to see people start using them around, and the sales around, you know, locally and then all over the nation, I mean, it's good to hear feedback like that. I love hearing it, you know. And you was talking about Texas, everything bigger in Texas. I know it wasn't on Canterbury rods, but fellow Halo teammate Lee Livesey, he showed what lives in Texas on the Halo, you know, the new Halo rods out there. And I mean, I don't know that Ray Roberts has the fish that Lake Fork has in it, but it's definitely got big ones in it.
Yeah, when I went out there today and was kind of looking at the map on it, looking at the Google Earth, and it looks a lot like Fork to me, only probably smaller, and it looks like it's got a lot of rock and a lot of other stuff. So who knows? I mean, there's big ones live there. If you hit it just right, you never know.
Definitely. It does look like it has. You know, from the dam, there's two forks, and the right side's definitely a lot bigger. But there, you got like 5 miles of the main lake before you get up to, I don't even know what they call the island or anything, but there's an island. There's a set of telephone poles that runs all the way across the lake, and from there, anywhere up that river, I mean, it's just treacherous. There's no buoys, no channel markers, no trails. There's no way time out there, but it's been a year ago now. I mean, the Classic got postponed and put back. We were supposed to fish in April, but learning to navigate those waters are going to be pretty important to get to your fish. But I'm sure it'll be fine. It's going to be fun no matter what.
Oh yeah, the Classic's always fun.
It's the Super Bowl of bass fishing. If you're there, you're excited to be there.
Yeah, it's always good. I've probably been to the last 10 or 12, and I've worked them, but I enjoy them, and enjoy seeing it. It's big time, in bass fishing. It's the biggest thing that happens bass fishing every year, and it's a real honor for you guys to be there. I mean,
Most definitely.
that's what you shoot for every year. So it'll be good. We're going to have a booth there. So, and we're going to be in Brandon's Bass Shop as well there. So if any of you guys are coming to the Classic for the expo, it's there at the fairgrounds, I think, or the stockyard. I'm sorry, at Fort Worth. So come see all of our stuff. I'm quite sure we're going to be streaming the leading guy at the Bassmaster Classic, which will be Scott, in our booth. So we'll be watching him catching them and cheering him on, and y'all come in and cheer him on with us. It'll be fun. We're going to have a big time there, and but you know, it's just crazy. This year has been crazy, as you know, and as everybody knows, with pandemic and all this being postponed. Everybody's used to the Bassmaster Classic being in the spring or early spring, very early spring, and so it's going to be a whole different ball game this time.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
You know, it brings excitement to it, to me, to see it moved around. I'd like to see it bounce around all over, you know, the year and different seasons. And, you know, when you got spring, you sort of highlight fishermen. Summer, you highlight fishermen. Everybody's got their strengths, and being versatile is one of the keys to making it to the Classic. Being versatile should be one of the keys to winning the Classic. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, just like I said, I mean, it's been busy. It's been exciting. I worked several of those expos at Classics when I was at FLW and stuff. And to work one of those expos and to see the excitement of the crowd and to see how big it is and the people that come to those expos, it's just unbelievable to be a part of the Classic. And then when you're fishing it, I mean, there's no other stage like it. I mean, it is the Super Bowl of bass fishing. You can't compare it to any other. I fished in lots of other championships, but the Bassmaster Classic is the number one in the sport.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. And you know, I've been in this a long time, and I've had people work in my booth that are in the Bassmaster Elite Series for years, and they're not near as excited as you are for fishing. They're always having a good time, and they're doing their thing. No. But the deal is, you know, they want to be where you are, and it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, it seems, you know, qualifying is a year-long process, and you're in the middle of it now, and it's you know, that's everybody's goal. And you know, the ultimate goal, I guess, is what you achieved 2 years ago, is being Angler of the Year, and then after that, it's making the Classic. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we set goals at the beginning of every year. You know, everybody's goal. You know, I have like 3 goals. I mean, your first goal is to make the Classic, and I'm struggling to do that this year. It's been a different year. I've still got some opportunities, and just got to get it together. But you know, and then you got another goal. I go to win a tournament. I want one of those blue trophies to put on the shelf. But then everybody in the sport's ultimate overall goal, like you said, is to win AOY, which I was blessed and accomplished in 2019. And I want another opportunity at that one. I'd like to have 2 of those trophies as well. So, you know, we're going to get after it and stay strong after it. It's going to be exciting. We're winding down this year, and that's weird to say that we're winding it down and we're fishing the Classic right now. But after the Classic, you know, we head north. We've only got 2 more tournaments in the regular season, and our season will be over. So it really is. It's winding down for the year, but right now all eyes are on the Classic.
Yeah, and as they should be. I mean, it's the big prize out there. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's always been the big prize. You know, I grew up as a young child reading Bassmaster magazines, and I don't even want to tell you who, you know, was the first person I saw that won the Classic, because it'd tell you how old I am. But it's you know, that as a fisherman, as a bass fisherman, it's a dream of everybody to be in the Elite Series for one, but the Classic is the ultimate dream for anybody that has ever been bass fishing, in my opinion. That's always been my dream, and I've never been there, but as a bass fisherman, that's what you have in your mind for your whole life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing that compares to it. I mean, when you walk across that stage and see the crowd erupt and just see what the excitement in the building, in the arena. There's nothing that compares to the Classic. You know, I hopefully I'll get to fish in a lot more of them, but to hold that Classic trophy high is going to be. I mean, it's hard to explain, but to hold that trophy, it would be super, super special. Like you said, it's something that you just wanted to compete in as a kid, something that I wanted to compete in as a kid my whole life. I've been there, I've done that. I want to, come out on top on one of those and hold that trophy up. It would be the ultimate dream come true. It is the biggest, I keep saying it, but it's the biggest tournament in bass fishing. It's the Super Bowl of bass fishing is what people refer to it as. There's no other. The Classic at Fort Worth. It's going to be huge. It was huge in Birmingham, but in Fort Worth, Texas, I've been to a lot of tournaments in Texas. We fished Lake Travis and Austin, Lake Fort. And those Texas people, they show out. They show up in big ways. But, the Bassmaster Classic doesn't just have local people. There's people travel from all over the country. There's guys that have been to 20 or 25 of them straight, no matter where they live, and haven't missed one. So it's exciting to see old friends and meet new friends and see old friends that at the Classic. And hopefully everybody will be cheering me on the final day.
Yeah, and it's going to be a really good one, and I assume that this one no different from the which I think Bass has done an excellent job this year with all their live coverage and their television coverage, and this one should be big. This one should get a lot of coverage. They're doing a fantastic job with you guys and putting it out there and just building the sport up to even bigger than it is. And it's hard to believe that it could get bigger than it was last year when you went to every boat ramp and you couldn't find a parking spot. But I think there's several entities that are doing it, and it's the sport has just really blown up in the last 2 years, and I think you're going to see that this Classic is going to be phenomenal with the attendance. I just really believe it.
Most definitely, I can't wait to see it. Like you say, it's hard to believe that the sport can continue the growth, but to see the growth that we've had in the past, you said a couple of years, but the youth in the industry with the high school fishing and the college fishing, and all that has taken off so much in the past, 5 or 6 years, or ever how long they've been doing it. It's blown up tremendously. And to see that younger generation excel, and they're excelling as they come out of high school. They go into college fishing. And those guys, they're able to read electronics and learn stuff, the avenues with YouTube and the way Bass promotes and everything, the avenues that they have to learn is just so much faster and more advanced than what we had growing up. And they're just so much further along at a younger age than we were as fishermen, me and you as growing up. If they would have had college fishing when I was around, I might have stayed in college a lot longer, but it's good to see. It's good to see the growth in the industry, and it's good to see the way bass fishing has really taken off.
Oh, it's crazy to me, and being in the industry and seeing it, and these young kids. I started out with a Zebco 33 and a loose speed stick. I didn't start out with that, but that was my premium setup when I turned 9 or 10 years old, and you couldn't tell me anything at that point, because I had the stuff, and these guys are masters at casting and pitching, and it's amazing. And I was very involved with high school fishing in the beginning, and had a team, and was on the board of directors of one of the of the associations, and the way it grew. We had like 25 boats in our first tournament, and by the end of that year we had over 200 boats in every tournament, and it just continues to just explode. But it's not just people out there going through the motions. These kids can fish now, man, and it's cool. Yeah. At the Classic and at these events. These kids are sponges, man. They're out there trying to learn everything they can from you guys, and it's awesome that you guys take the time with them and show them things. And it means a lot to them, and it's just the future of our sport. And who knows, in a few years, there's no telling, there may be some kid that's 17 years old that's fishing in competing in the classic, and everybody's scared, but because it's getting there quick.
It definitely is. It's getting there so fast. I mean, I've been a captain for 3 or 4 years in the high school fishing, and to see, you go to a tournament in March or February, and it's high 43 and it's raining, and 225 boats. That's 450 kids show up ready to go fishing, and you see them all at the weigh-in. I mean, they are so excited, so pumped up, and to see them, to dedicate their time. It's not something that's easy for them to do. I mean, and that's what I've told them all. You have to be 100%. You got to be all in to go do it. Not that you can't be involved with other sports and everything, but you got to be committed. If you're going to fish for a high school fishing team or a college fishing team, you got to be committed and prepared to do it. And, they all got the right equipment, the right clothing, the right rain, foul weather gear. And that's something that it takes. I mean, you have to be 100% prepared. And it seems like these kids nowadays, they have what it takes. And I mean, it's exciting to see that youth and the growth in the industry, and to see them learn to take care of our resources. I mean, fish care. They're all learn about fish care. And that's a big thing today with as many people we have fishing and everything, is being able to take care of our fish so that we can release them and catch them again, or somebody else can catch them again in the future. That's a big deal with me, and it's something that I enjoy seeing and teaching about. Not only the fishing part, but the, taking care of our resources, that the etiquette. There's still a fishing etiquette out there, and, doing things the right way.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And, I think it's all, every entity of professional fishing has really taken them under their wings and understand. I mean, that's our future. That's the future of all of us. We as you're younger than me, but I still love it. I go as much as I can, but we understand as adults how delicate this our ecosystem is, and we've seen lakes. I've seen lakes turn around and turn to nothing in a few years, but if we take care of them, then they'll continue to produce, and we'll have somewhere to go fish. But yeah, that's a very important thing, and I think it's really good that these young people are getting involved in it. I had a question for you. This is an interesting question. Tim Robinson Fishing asked, "What's your guess on the winning weight at the Classic?"
I mean, it's hard to guess a winning weight before you even practice. I mean, it's hard to guess it even after practicing. But, a lot of times we get it dialed in pretty close. Going out there, I mean, you're going to have, it's a Texas lake that's got really big ones in it. I mean, you're going to have over 20 a day, to win that tournament, no doubt in my mind. And it may be 25 a day. It could take 75 pounds for 3 days to win the Classic. And that's unheard of, but it just depends on what stage the fish are in. We're not allowed to get any information except for what you can gather off the internet or whatever. So you can't talk to anybody, and there's not a whole lot that you can read about on Ray Roberts. If we would have went in April, I'd have said it would have took at least 75. Going this time of year, I have no idea. There's really no tournaments that you can look up over there for results. And I've tried to find some stuff, and it's hard to find. But, no matter what, we've got the best guys in the world going to be there, and somebody's going to figure out it and put all the key pieces of the puzzle together. So it'll take over 20 a day. A wide range, 60 to 75 pounds. That's a very wide range. If you guess somewhere in the middle, 68 pounds. So just guessing right now. But like I said, I haven't seen the lake in over a year, so I have no idea.
Yeah, that is a hard one, and especially this time of year, it's really hard, and you never know what stage they're going to be in. Just like when you went to Guntersville, everybody had in their mind where they were going to be, I'm sure, as I did as well, and it proved everybody wrong, and there were some where people thought they should be, but they weren't many. So
that's right.
Or many of the big ones.
Won a TTBC out on Ray Roberts. back years ago, which was the Texas Toyota Bass Classic. And that was in the third week of May. The lake was really high, flooded, and fish had been up there shallow for a long time. I was trying to look up and see what it took. He didn't catch, I mean, the weights weren't great in that one. I was trying to look it up and see what it took in that one. He only had like 16 pounds the last day. So, you know, I mean, that's the third week of May. It's hard to say because, like I said, you just don't have a lot of history, or you can't look up a lot of history on that lake, and just depends. I mean, I'm sure the fish are done spawning, and if they moved out, it would make it easier than it was if they're scattered out all over the place. But catch 20 pounds a day, I'm sure you're going to be in the hunt.
Oh yeah, you catch 20 pounds a day at most of these events, and you're doing good. You can't complain, and so I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward, and that's some of the fun part about it for the viewers, and it is the suspense as to what it's going to be. You know, get out there and watch it. It's always entertaining. If you love fishing, like I do, and like most of you that are probably watching this do, you know, that's part of the fun of the whole deal. And I love it. My wife, it can't stand it when there's 3 days of Bassmaster Live on because, you know, she has to go to the bedroom and watch something else. But it's but it's good. You know, we're all trying to learn. I'm not a young guy anymore, but I try to learn everything I can. That's why we watch all this stuff, and you know, and we enjoy it. And you guys put on a good show for us, and I guarantee you that the Bassmaster Classic won't be any exception to that. You guys will put on a heck of a show, and it'll be very entertaining. And you know, we're just looking forward to that very last moment when you're holding that trophy up and all the ticker tapes coming down, and that's what we're looking forward to.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well,
That'll be a big moment. But, you know, just got to get there. I mean, and see if we can grind it out and hopefully make a run at it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I'm going to be heading out Wednesday. I'm going to actually leave next Wednesday, which is a week ahead. And we have an open house. I got an open house at a Skeeter Yamaha dealership in Texas I'm going to on Thursday. Get settled in. We'll start practice on Friday. Get to practice all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'd have a lot better idea of what kind of weight we're looking for after a couple of days of practice for sure. So I'm looking forward to it. Excited to be there, excited to be competing, but definitely looking for the win. I need to win this one. You know, it's like the Classic. You win the Classic, it automatically qualifies you for the next Classic. So that's one of the opportunities that I have to go to make it to it. So I'm looking forward to getting out there and leaving it all out on the water like I always do. And just give it my all every time.
Oh yeah, it's the only thing you can do, and we're looking forward to it as well. And you know, I'm looking forward to seeing those Halo rods go to work, and hopefully get some of the great net bait products that we have. You know, there's Scum Frog. You never know what it might take, and we're looking forward to putting all that stuff to work and seeing you at the end of the week holding up a trophy. I just really, I think there's a really good chance of it, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I mean, I've already got some rods rigged up. I expect the big the big C-Mac worm to be a player like it was at Eufaula out deep. I expect to be able to catch some on a football jig with a baby pocket crawl trailer on it. You know, there's a lot of opportunities for our baits to really shine at this one, with it being, you know, you could fish out deep and structure fish. I mean, there could be a lot of stuff that really shines when you're structure fishing house foundations, road beds, things of that. A lot of those plastics come into play. And, you know, you mentioned net bait. We got some of the best plastics in the industry, and stuff that we've been working on new products and new colors all the time, and it keeps it so exciting. And that's one of the things that I love about our company. You know, American Bait Works has a little bit of everything to offer with the rods and the plastics, and then we got Freedom Tackle, and then you mentioned Scum Frog, and I'm throwing a lot of the the newer, the prototype snag proof stuff, frogs. I'm using a lot of that stuff right now. I'm excited, really excited about those. And, I like we got the plastics and the softness of it back down the way we want it, and everything seems to be working really good.
Yeah. No, we work on it constantly, and we're glad. And you guys are the driving force for most of that. You guys give us all the feedback. We've been working on that snag proof deal for, it seems like ever. It's been a couple years now, and we didn't want to bring it back out on the market till we got it right, and a lot of that is attributed to you guys that help us out and give us the feedback, make sure we make the right products, put the right hooks in them. We want our products to catch fish. And at the end of the day, everybody in the fishing industry is trying to catch a fisherman to buy their products, and we're no different, other than the fact that we want our products to catch fish and people to continue to buy them and continue to like them. And that's why we have such great anglers, like all of our pro staff, you included, to help us to get to that point. So, and we appreciate all the help you guys give us, for sure.
Well, I mean, I know I do. I'm sure everybody else really enjoys working with y'all on products. Like we worked on rods for a long time. You helped me, I helped you, I gave you what input. We worked on price points. I mean, just keeping products affordable and products that people can use and catch fish. And, I mean, there's so many good ones out there that you really have to stay on top of your game to compete in this industry.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I feel like we have some of the best out there, and it isn't stopping now. So we're working on it every single day. We're coming out with more stuff. I talked to you earlier today about some of the new stuff we're coming out with, and that we have on our mind and have on the drawing board. And that happens every single day at American Bait Works. And we're out there to stay ahead of the industry standard and to give great products to the customers. I do have one more question here that I got that I better get in here before I get in trouble, but it's what rod would you suggest for a lipless, looking at the 7.5 heavy Scott Canterbury series for dedicated jig rod, flipping and pitching on Lake Cumberland and Dale Hollow? Would you agree or suggest a different rod?
No, I love that rod. Anytime I'm fishing, pitching, or flipping, it's what it's made for. It's not made for casting. That 7.5 heavy is strictly for pitching and flipping. It's got a shorter handle than most, and you'll definitely like that rod. Lipless is, I mean, there's a lot of different rods you can throw a lipless on. Myself, personally, it depends on what you're fishing it around. If I'm fishing in grass and stuff, I use that 7.3 Canterbury rod a lot. If I'm just fishing open water, I mean, if I'm throwing a 3/4, I'll still go to that 7.3. But if I'm throwing a 1/2 ounce, I'll go down just a 7-foot medium heavy rod, and it'll cover just about all your bases. That 7-foot medium heavy and 7.3 are probably the two most versatile rods in my lineup. We've got a lot of other rods. If you like a glass rod for your crank, for your rattle traps and stuff, we have that. We have that in a different series. We have the glass series of cranking rods. Really good for any of that stuff as well. But the 7-foot medium heavy or 7.3 medium heavy should cover most of your bases with that.
Yeah, I would agree, and better than me. I've used a lot of rods, but I'm a medium heavy guy when it comes to lipless, and a lot of people like a little more parabolic, but to me, you can handle any situation, the grass with medium heavy, but you also have enough bend in your rod to fight the fish and get them in. So I would totally agree. I like the contact of a medium heavy as far as the feel of your bait. You can feel everything. So yeah, I would totally agree with that. And I think we've answered this question to a certain extent, but Lee King wanted to know, did you think with the Classic being this late in the year, would it be tougher and the weights be lower?
I mean,
and you don't know that.
It depends. how the lake sets up, how the lake fishes in the summertime. If we was on the Tennessee River, I would say the weights may even be better this time of year, and it sets up because there's current in that. But there, we're fishing a reservoir, and it definitely could be a little tougher. I think the weights will be good, but I don't think they will be as high as they would have been in April. If we would have been there in April, fish would have been on the bank spawning, pre-spawn and spawn. I mean, it would have been crazy how good it could have been with a lot of really, really, really big fish weighed in. I still expect it to be a really good. The weights could be a little tighter. The winning weights are going to be good. Hopefully it'll all be, we're all going to catch them. No matter, people are going to catch fish. We know that, no matter how tough it is. You throw these guys out in a mud hole and they're going to catch them. But yeah, I expect it to be a little tougher than it would have been in April, but it's still going to be a really good classic.
Yeah, I agree. And then one last question here. Rob Mahaffey wants to know what rod you'd use for a spinnerbait in the Canterbury series.
There again, that 7.3, I throw a spinnerbait all the time on it. That 7.3, it's an X medium heavy actually, but it's an awesome, awesome rod. We designed that rod to throw a chatterbait on and stuff, but it's really, really good with a spinnerbait. I've caught a lot of big ones this year on a spinnerbait with that rod. If I'm up target casting or fishing real shallow around targets, casting, cypress trees, trying to get her underneath docks, things of that such, that little 610 with a short handle has been an awesome rod for little spinnerbaits as well. But most situations, spinnerbait fishing, that 7.3, it's an X medium heavy. If you get that rod, you're not going wrong in the Canterbury series because that is a super versatile rod. You could fish. I mean, I throw a big bopper on it, which is a worm that netbait has. I throw a chatterbait on it, spinnerbait on it. At all times, I have about 3 or 4 of those rods in my rod locker.
Yeah, it's an awesome little rod, and it's down here in the marsh where I live it's pretty much a go-to for me in tight quarters. It's a cool little rod for tight quarters, and it has enough backbone that you can do a lot of stuff with it, but it's still parabolic enough to where you can throw the lighter baits, and it's just when you gave me that all the specs for that rod, I was a little bit perplexed, and when we made it, and me and you went, I think, to Lake Mitchell or somewhere and fished with them, I understood it more after I fished it a little while, and it's a cool little rod. It really is. So if y'all hadn't tried that one out, you might want to get it because it's a very versatile rod, especially for tight quarters.
And you're talking about the 610 is the one I mentioned there. And, I got a lot of people that's got that rod and really like it. I've caught almost every fish I weighed in at Cumberland on that rod. I think I finished 14th in that event, cranking with that rod, real short cast, tight quarters, making real precise casts. I caught them out just caught them on different techniques with that rod in a lot of situations this year. Caught them on a jerk bait with that rod. That shorter handle really works well for that in a top water. It's been a really good rod, really good one for a lot of different people and a lot of different uses.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. That was a home run, and that was all you, man, because I thought it was a little weird when we started with it, and it turned out to be a phenomenal rod. So that's cool, and if y'all hadn't looked at that one, y'all need to check it out. It balances real well with reel. It's just a phenomenal rod for a lot of situations. So, I mean, for like kayak fishing, pond fishing, things like that, you couldn't beat it because it's just so compact, and you can do anything with it. So it's a cool rod. But anyway, we've about run out of time here, and they may shut me off here in a little while. I don't know how that works, but I do appreciate you coming on with me today and taking your time. You've always, been very informative to everybody, and I know everybody appreciates that. And, I want to wish you the best of luck at the Classic. I'm sure we'll talk beforehand, but it's, it's crazy that you're going to be there, and we'll be cheering you on. Everybody on the American Baitworks team, along with lots of other fans, I'm sure, will be cheering you on and looking forward to that big trophy at the end. That's what we're looking forward to.
It's exciting. It's exciting time. It's been exciting getting prepared for it. Everybody be sure to keep up with it, Bassmaster.com. They'll be giving great coverage. It'll be on. It's the coverage that they have this year and the past years has just been phenomenal. But the Classic is it's a special event. Everybody be sure and keep up with it here. A couple of weeks, June 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere in there. I don't even know. It's somewhere right in there. It's June. It's the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
10th through 13th, I think, isn't it? 10th through
11th, 12th, and 13th. You're exactly right. Yeah.
11th,
12th, and 13th of June. It's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to it and ready to get out there and get this puzzle figured out. Like we've been talking about, it's going to be fun. Trying to figure out where the bigger fish are at in the lake, and that's the ones we got to key on. This is a tournament. I mean, everybody, you want to do as well as you can, but this is a tournament that you leave it all out there. You shoot for the win no matter what, and 5 years from now, nobody will even remember who finishes second. So looking forward to it, and we'll be giving it our all for sure.
Oh, I guarantee you always do. And that is a cool deal when you can swing for the fences every time. And, we look forward to everybody that comes to the Classic, that comes to the expo, come by the booth. We've talked about all these rods. We'll have them in our booth. We'll have all of our products in the booth. Come by and see us. We'll have lots of other stuff. We're going to be having a bunch of giveaways, and we're going to have a big time. And then come see us at Brandon's Bass Shop as well, which is right across from our booth. We'll have all our products in there as well at some great prices. So, everybody come see us. It's there, and help us all cheer Scott on to win this thing.
Awesome.
And I appreciate it. And, for now, we're going to sign off and look forward to seeing everybody on the next one. And we'll see you in Fort Worth in a couple of weeks.
See you then. We'll be doing a recap, hopefully, after showing how I won this thing in a couple of weeks. Appreciate it. Thanks, Walt.
Yeah, y'all can put the trophy on my side in front of my face, and I'll just talk behind the trophy. How about that?
That's right. We can do whatever.
That's right.
Thanks
all
again.
right, man. Appreciate it. And have a good night.
See you, bud.
All right.